Go team!
Welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. Today we got a special guest, Brett Papa.
Check you out, dude. Like Mr. Professional Announcer.
Oh, yes I am.
Yes.
And today we're going to go over the top 5 rock movies. Yes. If you guys want to learn how to play guitar, this guy is the man. He has free how-to videos on his channel. He's really known for his Jimi Hendrix. He can play some wicked Van Halen.
No, please. Can anybody do that right?
Finger tapping.
That's
He's
awesome.
great with blues and scales.
Right. One-stop shop. We do it all.
Yes.
Interviews,
and
the whole bit.
He brings on the greatest session guitarist on his
That's
channel.
the fun stuff, man. Jeez.
And you talk about, like, one of them's Tim Pierce. He's worked on Michael Jackson, to Katy Perry, to anyone that you've ever heard ever. Like, he is the man in Hollywood.
He is, dude.
Go over to Brett Papa's channel after this video. Check it out. Ooh, link will be in the description. All right. Let's do some runner-ups. I just got to bring it up.
Wait, hold on. I'm just excited because, like, this is you in your element. Like, he's talked like this for so long. I'm so excited to see.
You ready?
Yes.
I'm ready. Let's do this. All right. I just thought we would have to mention this. Tommy. And we're talking about rock movies.
Way to bring us down, Nick. Way to bring us down.
We might as well start there and just keep rocking up, right?
Yeah. Man, that was a freaking intense movie.
Very intense, but I just want to bring up one cool thing about it.
What's that?
I thought it was so cool. Elton John was in the film.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Like, they had to be, like, close, and you always hear the stories.
Yeah.
How they would all be in, like, the same hotel rooms, and everyone knew each other.
I mean, so is that really a true...
Yeah, he's in...
No
yeah,
way.
That's him singing Pinball. I don't want to get copyrighted. But
That's so funny.
But yeah, check it out. It's a great scene. You can probably even find the clip on YouTube. I think he's wearing, like, stilts or something like that.
No way.
It's so awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
What's another good one?
I freaking love Song Remains the Same, but, you know, that's like a concert.
So good.
Yeah.
John, can you show us your shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. See, that was a
Put on the
subliminal
shirt,
plant. That's
right.
amazing.
And John, what did you think of that one?
Yeah, so my mom got me that for Christmas many, many years ago. I was maybe just straight out of high school. She's so funny.
Take this
She's
one,
so
man. Check it
Yeah,
out.
here you go, man. This is free. But she's like, you know, we talked about, you know, DVD had just recently come out.
Oh my
You know, a
gosh.
big thing early on DVD was concerts and 5.1 mixes. And
Oh, totally.
she's like, yeah, I saw this. And I think I maybe mentioned to her, I'm like, yeah, I think this would be a cool DVD to have. And she got it for me. I didn't know they had these dream sequences of them in
totally.
here. And right when you put
They're
in the
alter
movie,
egos.
yeah, they were like in these mobster outfits, and then there's a drive-by, and as they're getting shot, like all kind of confetti's coming out for blood. I'm like, did they put the wrong DVD in this case?
Right,
like, what the heck
exactly.
is this? And then we just kept watching, and my dad walks in, and my dad used to be a sheriff. He's like, who are these hippies? He just walked away. It's like
amazing.
long-haired hippies. Like he's like long-haired hippies just walked off.
Yeah. Oh, that's
my God.
awesome.
So if you're a fan of Led Zeppelin, check that out. I mean, like, come on, you can't get any better than Live Zeppelin.
No,
It's not like
really,
a movie.
really good.
It's more of a concert, but it has some cool sequences in it. Really,
It was
really
on
fun
film.
stuff. Like, yeah, you see like Jimmy Page in this outfit.
Freaking
He's like
dragon suit.
aging like 900 years, gets the old guy tarot card. Really cool stuff. Really artistic. Yeah.
No, that
Cool
was
concert.
great. I mean, and the playing, it's funny, like, because they're such a different band live, you know, and not that this is no takeaway from them, but like sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're like, you know, you know, I wouldn't say
for
great,
them-
but considering the times and what they were, you know, what state their mental capacity was in, you know, who knows, right? But the performance is cool because it's kind of raw, and I like it how it transitions from those sequences, right? But
Yeah.
some of the performances in there are so good. And it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bummer because you don't see that raw blues rock format anymore. There's no real band I can think of that does that well,
They
you
would
know.
just go off on those huge tangents where you'd get like a 30-minute Dazed and Confused, but they'd splice in like 4 or 5 different songs and bring it back.
Yeah.
And they prided themselves on every concert being raw and different. Like the solos would be different, and somehow they always kept in sync though.
Yeah.
And I guess that was like 4 nights of concerts, and everybody except for John Paul Jones would wear the same outfits, but in
how
cuts with him,
funny.
you'd see he's wearing different clothes. Like, I'm not wearing the same thing 4 nights in a row,
Yeah.
you know, but it's really, really cool. Like their studio albums sound way different than their live
Yeah.
performances, like you said.
Well, I mean,
really
and they're all
stuff.
so good in their own right. You know, I mean that's kind of interesting because you really don't like supergroup as a whole. You don't see that
No, not really
anymore. You know, because they were all session guys or whatever. You know, and like them to be put together and just like it was an interesting time because they were starting getting like multi-tracking, and then Zeppelin's albums sound massive, but then you know hearing them in that element is really cool. There was another DVD they did, and I would say it was equally as good as that, although it doesn't have the same scenes, and I forget what it's called, but
That was the Atlantic one, right?
it's a more recent release, but
cover?
it's all sorts of different performances, so it's not just one. But there's
They
some
even had
on there
bootlegs,
that
right?
like what's the oh my god, I'm totally blanking on the song.
The Immigrant Song. That was the first
Yeah,
one. The
oh my
Immigrant
god,
Song.
the
Yeah.
performance on that is freaking ridiculous, and it's like
And the footage they
that
got
is
from that
Led
was a
Zeppelin.
bootleg too.
What's
Yeah.
that?
The footage they got for that was a bootleg. They
Oh,
got
it's so
bootleg
good. Yeah, it's
copies of it.
all
So that's why it
totally-
looks so raw. It's like literal like.
No,
people
but
just-
yeah, I mean, it makes it better, right? Because I mean, it's just
Yeah, it
like
was
you're
awesome.
there and like the whole stadium's moving or
That's so
whatever.
awesome.
No, it's great. It's totally
Yeah.
worth checking out.
Yeah.
I got to throw in one more, and only because my son is, and this is just a concert movie. We're talking about concert movies. Sorry,
No,
hijack.
music, man.
So all of my kids, it's weird. So they all love Journey, right? And all of them independently have all picked Stone in Love as their
Oh
favorite
my
song. That's
gosh.
the first song all of my kids I can, really remember them like
Yeah.
stopping and like you see their face and then they really start to concentrate on the music, right?
Such a good song.
And so it's so good. And so obviously I'm a huge Journey nut, but they have live in Houston like 1981. And when you see a band like that, because they recorded their albums live, right? So what you hear on the actual record itself is them in a room playing live.
Oh,
they don't
wow. So
overdub
it's
that
not
stuff. I mean,
mixing
that
or
is-
anything. Wow.
Right, and so that is how good they are. So like, what am I? But anyways, like, long story short, my kid loves drums and all that stuff, so I'm like saturated watching this freaking video all the time because he sees the Steve Smith drum solo, and he's like 2, and he's like already like, yay, yay,
We should have him on this podcast.
Oh, bro,
He'll
it's
tell us the best rock
hilarious.
stuff.
But that show, like as far as musicianship on like the highest level, and seeing that is just amazing to watch. And I got the Rush one for him too because
Oh
he's in
my
the
gosh,
drums.
Neil
That one's
Peart.
so good.
Oh, Neil Peart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways,
man.
I could go on and on. I'm sorry, I hijacked. We went to
No.
concert
No, that's
DVDs,
awesome.
but
That's
like
awesome.
No.
that part of music, I miss that. And some of these movies are great because their soundtracks are amazing, like Dazed and Confused and like
Oh, yeah. Dazed and Confused.
what's the one
Yeah.
that's like Almost Famous or whatever. It's still that era, like it's so
Yeah.
they all have that like great freaking
yeah.
Almost Famous. I mean,
Oh.
Dazed and Confused, that soundtrack, I remember it came out and like I saw it in the record store and I flipped it over and I'm like, this has like the best songs of all time on like one.
Yeah. Wasn't Free
Forrest
Ride on
Gump's
there?
too was good,
Wasn't
too.
it Free Ride? Like, come
Oh
on.
yeah, totally. That was like the full movie.
And that was a kind of a surprise hit, right? That didn't get a whole lot of press. Did it just come out? Because I remember all of my friends seeing that when it first came out. They're like, "This is amazing," but was it a big hyped movie, or did it just come out and just catch everybody?
No, I think it was, and I think it ended up being kind of like one of those cult classics, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like a sleeper hit. Yeah.
The director of that also directed 7 Years, where he tracked the boy's life through 7 years.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's the same director.
Wow.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like what he's done. And
Oh, he captured that era so
yeah,
good.
he did like every. Oh yeah, he did such a good. And then what's his name's in there?
Matthew McConaughey. Dude, he's so. Are you talking about the same guy?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does the
Wolf of Wall Street. That's so
God,
hilarious.
He was so good in that
Oh
movie.
man.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
But he was basically playing himself.
Yeah, I
so
know.
it's like, that's probably not that hard.
Yeah, no, he's great at playing himself.
Totally.
He really is. What about let's go heavy metal, like
All
a
right.
comedy, Spinal Tap.
Right. You know what's funny? As I've seen
Tune it to 11.
I know, dude. I've seen those main scenes, but I don't know if I've ever seen that movie all the way through.
You've never seen the Stonehenge come down onto the
No,
stage?
right? Everybody talks about these iconic parts, right? So you see when he gets stuck in the pod and like all. I mean, the ideas are brilliant. You know what I mean? Like what they thought of.
Isn't the director that's in the movie also directing?
Oh, I don't know
The
that.
dude with
Is
the
it?
beard?
Oh, is he? I'm not sure.
I think he is also the director. I don't know. Don't quote me.
Yeah, right.
I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
So I had a history teacher in college at Fresno State, and it was early, like pre-civilization art, and she showed the Stonehenge scene from Spinal Tap in class on the projector. She's like, because Stonehenge was in jeopardy of being smashed by a dwarf. And I was like,
that is so awesome.
And I'd never seen it, so after I saw that scene in the movie in class, I went to my friend like, dude, have you ever seen Spinal Tap? He's like, yeah, it's right here. Let's watch it right now. And
oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh, it's so
I have my history teacher to thank for that.
Oh, good for her.
Oh, man.
That's an A+ history teacher right there.
So
That's right.
Well, since we're on the topic of comedies, I just got to mention. Excellent. All right.
Oh, dude. Okay, so another movie I've never seen all the way through.
Oh my god!
Can you freaking believe it? I think I am the only human on Earth.
So Nick's such a fan of that in compositing class, Nick did the whole Wayne's World in the car in the Murph-mobile, and he was Wayne. I said, well, who's going to be Garth? It's like, you're going to be Garth. I'm like, I have no hair, dude. He's like, I got a wig. I got
of course
the glasses,
he does. And his back pocket, probably pull it out.
You know what? I still have that on my server. While we're talking about that, I'm going to put your clip up in the podcast right now. They can look.
You have to clean it up first. The whole thing was John's like, do one scene. I did
just one shot.
Like 12 shots.
You only have to do
hilarious.
one shot, but Nick did the whole sequence. So we have our friends are playing the backseat stoner guys, and Nick and I are up front singing. And our friend's wife was laughing because she was helping film it because I never broke character. I was like, all right, man.
Yeah.
So I was Garth the whole time.
She's like, when you climb the gym rope, the gym class. Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when you dressed him like a girl?
It was so much fun. And Nick just happened to have everything
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh my god, you guys got that down.
Oh man, it's so good.
Oh, it was so much fun.
And then another one. I don't know if you guys watched this one, but Detroit Rock City. Did you guys see that?
No,
it was about a Kiss cover band.
No way.
Spoilers
like,
up ahead.
Like
I'm gonna
funny movie or
it's a comedy because it's a Kiss cover band and Kiss is playing in of course Detroit. And the guy calls the radio and he wins.
Oh,
and they're like, and they win four tickets. So this band's like, oh my gosh, they put on the makeup and everything. They're like, they steal their parents' car.
No
way. It's like this whole thing to go there. And then they go. They're about to go see the show. And they're like, yeah, we're the guys that won the tickets. We're on the radio. And the guy's like, you're the guy. Come here. And they play the radio. And it's like, you just won. He's like, yeah. He threw the phone and he ran back to tell everyone he never gave the information. So they gave the tickets.
Oh, no way. Oh, dude, that is hilarious.
The second half of the movie is them breaking into a Kiss concert.
No
so they're going backstage with the groupies and this whole thing. And they see Gene Simmons in like the hot tub. It's just like this whole like crazy comedy where like they get a priest high on drugs. It's just like a crazy comedy. Oh, if you guys get a chance to see it, was like one of my favorite high school movies. Oh, when did that come out?
Is it like a recent
90s
movie?
maybe?
Oh,
maybe
come on.
It was like a 90s movie. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I used to love that movie. Gosh, I love that movie as a kid. That was one of my favorites.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, so we got Wayne's World out of the way. Detroit Rock City. Maybe we go back to some Pink Floyd. Didn't Pink Floyd have a movie?
Yeah, they did The Wall. It was a trip. I mean, it's an intense movie. But man, the music, like you go back and you listen to like Comfortably Numb and some of the songs on that freaking album was amazing.
David Gilmour?
Yeah, David. Oh god, those guys are so good.
Yeah, so my whole thing, I've always wanted to watch. So I've started to watch it. And I'm just like, I feel funky, and so I stopped watching it.
It's dark. Yeah, just bring it right down.
Oh, just like Tommy.
I had the projector out. I had my my speakers up, and I was excited to watch that. But so now that we moved and we don't have the basement set up yet, like, well, I can't watch it until I have the basement set up because you got to be in the you got to be set for that. But
totally.
I've been so excited to watch. And then there's a guy like audio systems out here. So the best speakers I ever heard are these Infinity, I forgot what they were called, but they're like 9 feet tall, and each speaker has 12-inch subwoofers and like 32
My buddy
tweeters.
in Nashville has exactly, they're huge.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's like, who's Rick Rubin? He's like, Rick Rubin told me to get these speakers.
Rick Rubin.
And I'm like, okay. And he goes, no, I know what you're thinking. Like, a speaker can't be that much better. And he played an album through it, and I was like,
yeah.
It was because you felt like you're in it. You know, it's the weirdest freaking. I mean, like, it was a massive difference, and it's like, oh, this is what this is probably what they were hearing in the studio. You know what I mean? And like you really get
It
that.
sounds so. It ruined my life. It was like you'd reached
no
audio
speaker will
nirvana.
ever
Like
do
you had
that.
reached liberation, from rebirth. Like you
Yeah.
had reached the cycle. But
Life.
the guy had in his living room more wattage than an IMAX theater. He had 10,500 watts running through there
Shut
because
the front door.
Oh my god.
it was amazing. So I've heard those a couple times before. My friend that was in Fresno.
Yeah.
When I first got into home theater, and then so a guy out here that runs like an audio studio has them out there, and on YouTube
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, if you guys anybody's ever in the area, I invite you to come listen to Pink Floyd The Wall on these.
Oh
So my
my
friend
gosh.
Nick and I like we got to go. Like that ruined my life, but also showed me how high audio can go. They're
Isn't it
amazing.
crazy? I mean, like you can hear breathing. Like you can hear them. Like it's really like you're in the studio. It's,
I
that's the
haven't
only
seen
thing
it,
I
so
can compare
sounds
it to.
pretty.
And it's not
sounds
just
pretty intense.
No, it's
yeah,
cool,
it's not
and
just
it's
loud. It's like the clarity.
Yeah.
it's not like just boomy. It's like it's amazing. Yeah.
well, and it's only 2 speakers, right? So I mean, it
Yeah,
sounds
only 2.
3-dimensional out of 2 speakers. It's the weirdest freaking.
Sound.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds a trip.
So yeah, it's cool. You talk Rick Rubin. You're like, yeah.
No, I mean, yeah,
that's
right.
awesome.
And I don't even know how he knows Rick or whatever, but and so he was like, he searched them and they're like 20 grand or something. They're expensive. And there was some on eBay for $4,000, and he's like, "Oh my god,
Oh,
I have to
wow.
have these," like, and he got them, and they were in perfect condition, like.
Wow, because
Yeah.
so the guy that I had gone to his house, he had a center speaker that didn't match, but and then he had 2 other different model speakers
Yeah.
for his rear speakers, but he wouldn't tell me how much he paid for them. I'm like,
No,
why
they're
don't you pay for these? He's like, I'm not going to tell you because I'm embarrassed, but let me. I'll just put it this way: I sold my BMW so I could have these speakers. So
Yeah.
a guy in Germany bought them and had them shipped on a pallet overseas.
Shut up.
$60,000 for his setup.
Oh my god.
But like I
that's
said, he had
crazy.
more wattage than an IMAX theater in
Yeah.
his living room. But it was just amazing. He played his favorite album on the speakers was Godsmack, the song Voodoo. Have you
Oh
ever heard
my
that?
god, dude.
It's such a well produced album. I mean, he just played that song. He just played, actually, so that Led Zeppelin, that Atlantic DVD with
Yeah.
the Immigrant Song, I brought that over to his house and I listened to that
Oh my
at his
gosh.
house on those speakers. It
Dude.
was awesome.
Yeah, you were there in
But
the
that was
stadium.
You were there.
yeah, but that was the song he picked out, was that Godsmack Voodoo. But I brought over the Zeppelin DVD. That's
I
funny
bet
you
those
mentioned
kind of
that, and
albums
then
would
I
sound-
had just happened to
man.
listen to that on those speakers. Yeah,
Yeah.
We're going off on a tangent, you guys, but good stuff.
I know,
I
totally.
know. So we just got to mention a couple more before we
Okay.
get into the top 5.
All right, we haven't gotten top 5 yet.
No, we're gonna go.
Sweet.
So
Our
this-
cameras are gonna like. Ooh.
This is the last one before we get into top
Okay.
5. All right, Rockstar.
Oh, I love that movie.
Come on and shout.
Yeah.
Come on and let it out.
Zach Wilde's in that movie.
Oh no, it's stand up and shout.
Yeah.
Dang it, I messed up.
Yeah, early 2000s when most of these I saw when I was at Fresno State. Like the speakers are at Fresno State, Rockstar was at Fresno State. So
Oh,
yeah, so
funny.
that was a movie I've only seen once. I've been in the past recent years, like the last 6 months. I'm like, I need to really watch that movie again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go ahead and
Isn't
talk
it,
about that movie, and I'll
Jennifer
drop my roll.
Aniston in that movie too?
Yes,
I
she
think
plays
she's
the girlfriend,
Wow,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Man.
Mark
That was the
Wahlberg
early
does
days,
a
Do you
great.
know what band they were kind of?
It was Judas
Yeah,
Priest.
they released an
Judas
album.
Priest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or it's
Judas
loosely
Priest.
based on
it
that
was based
story.
off of Judas
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Wow.
that was.
Because their singer ended up being gay and the whole bit, and they did get a different singer.
Oh,
You know?
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I think that's the whole
Judas
premise of the
Priest.
movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So,
know. But
you
so
learned
my
something
little
new.
bit of trivia for that movie was that, and we were talking about it before we started rolling, that Jason Bonham, at least if I'm recalling, Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son from Led Zeppelin, the
Yeah.
drummer, he's actually on the drums in there, and he just, but so in the last reunion concert Led Zeppelin did, Jason Bonham was on the drums, and like Jimmy Page and Robert
Yeah.
Plant, they're just like, Jason Bonham just like leading he was like pushing
Yeah.
them, so
No,
so
he's
he's on the
great.
drums in that movie, and then they actually released an album, I think, for that movie too, and I think Mark Wahlberg's singing everything.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Zach Wilde's
you
on
did
it.
a
Fun
great
movie.
job, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did a really good
Yeah.
job.
All right, let's get to our top 5.
Okay, let's go.
This is a list we came up with together, so here it goes. If you don't like it, please comment down below. Let us know better movies.
Yeah, there's probably plenty of omissions. Yeah, plenty of
All right.
omissions. So let us know, you guys, as well. And if we haven't seen them, we get to watch them. So that'd be
Oh,
awesome.
sweet.
Number 5, good old Jack Black.
Oh.
School of
He's
Rock.
great, dude. He
Yes.
is so freaking funny. I remember the greatest thing about Jack, and this is not the movie, but like he was like, it was like an MTV Music Awards one time, and I remember, and he's so witty in the moment that it's just crazy. He like walked out on the stage, did a cartwheel, and literally like perfectly came up, and you know the mic, how it has the windscreen, bit the mic screen off and spit it on the floor, and then took his award and was like, I mean, just live
Wow.
TV, and I'm like, how on
That is
earth?
Jack Black.
That's him. Like you're just playing yourself, you know. But that, I taught guitar forever, and it's funny, that movie really inspired something culturally, because you see those, stores where it's like, they maybe they have all the instruments in the music store, and you see those like School of Rocks that really have, formed because of that kind of idea put out there, and it's
it could have sparked a whole generation of kids to want to play music.
Well, and it's cool because you do see that, and kids teaching them, like, I remember I showed a kid a Van Halen record, Van Halen 1, for the first time, and he was just like, it was that same thing, like in the movie. They're just like, oh my God,
Never heard Zeppelin or any of that
Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
What a great movie, too, to just introduce good bands and music
Oh,
to the younger generation, too. And it's fun and clean.
Yeah.
It's not like some of these other movies we mentioned,
Right.
like Tommy. Like,
It's a
don't
very
want the kids to get into
mainstream.
it.
The family can watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. I didn't even think about that because a lot of the stuff we were even talking about, like, you're not going to be watching a rock star with your kids. Probably.
One
kids are bad.
family-friendly movie on there.
Yeah. No, that really is. That's funny. I'll have to show my kids that movie. They'd love that.
All right, number 4.
All right.
The new Elton John movie.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Rocket Man!
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I just finished watching this on
Yeah.
a plane. I'm so bummed I watched it on the plane because it probably sounded
Oh, no.
incredible, like with actually good speakers and stuff. But like the way they tell the story, it's so intense, and his music's so perfect for his own story, and
Yeah.
it's really cool to just the way they did the transitions to like musical number back
Yeah,
to real
it was
life
really
and everything.
cool. It was very creative.
It was so cool. Like it was not a perfect movie or like a perfect retelling of his life or anything, but I just have it on the list because it's so different. Because like most movies about musicians, it's about their rise, their drug phase, their downfall, and then they're coming back up. Like it's
Hero
like
story.
every rock star movie. It was just fun to see like them do.
Is that the musical hero story?
Yeah,
It's just
awesome.
Behind the music.
Right? Except, they're not valiantly fighting for something. They're climbing out of addiction or friggin', it's funny is I know somebody, just through the music industry or whatever, who is in their band, right?
Wow.
And I don't know him personally. It's my friend's friend is in the band. And it's interesting listening to, he's a quirky dude, but like one of the things that I've heard is if he can't finish the song in 15 minutes, he stops. And so all that stuff that you hear, in the movie, have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't seen it.
So they did a really great job because this is, it sounds like really it was what it likes. He'll get a lyric sheet because the other guy, Bernie, I forget what his last name is, writes all the words, right? And so he hands him these pieces of paper with the lyrics on it, and he'll sit there and within like a minute, that stuff that you hear, these iconic songs starts coming out. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you think of the staggering level of talent that you know what I mean? And so obviously you're going to be off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're coming in at a different freaking wavelength
No,
as most people, but like...
It's true. And they did a great job, I think, showing his life story.
Yeah.
It's not appropriate for kids.
Yeah, no.
Like most of these other movies
I was
at
like
the top level.
covering the screen of my airplane because there was like a kid next to me. I'm
I
like,
know, I
hey,
felt
fast
bad
forward
like on
this.
the plane, this is like kid appropriate, so there's like
No.
kids all around me. Don't go to
Not
Florida.
kid
All right, another one. The Doors.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that one either.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that's
haven't
another
seen
one.
it? So it's
My
all
non-hippie mom is like, you need to watch that one. It's really
No,
good.
it's really cool because Val Kilmer's great. I mean, like he really plays Jim Morrison really good, and I think Oliver Stone directed it. So it's like it's a
I think
real,
he did,
it's
yeah.
a good movie. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and so he does a really good job of kind of showing how he comes from this super shy, kid into this, whatever. 'Cause I guess he was in movie school, film school or something like that, right? And that's why he was in where he was.
He was into poetry and things like that, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting because his dad, they don't really depict this in the movie, but I think his dad is like really high up in the military, like in the Navy or something like that. In real life,
lot
like
of them-
way
Yeah.
high. But they don't really depict his dad in the movie. It's interesting. Like that's one of the. After learning that, I'm like, that's weird. They don't really show because all you see of his dad is that he goes on this trip through the desert, and all of a sudden he starts having these like visions,
And is that supposed to be? I mean, it's Oliver Stone. Maybe is it loosely based, or is it supposed to be pretty factual, or is it still?
Yeah, I don't know if they. I mean, I would imagine at that time the other two guys in the band were still alive, so I would imagine they had input in, kind of fact checking or whatever. But I mean, right? You're telling a story, so maybe some of it's
of course.
exaggerated or whatever. But
Kind of like the next one on our list. There's still some band members alive.
is there? What do we
The
got?
Queen one.
Oh, another freaking band, dude. You know, it's funny. You know, I'm not a rap fan, but these kind of movies are really interesting because there was that movie. What was it? The Two Live Crew movie. Did you guys see that movie?
Mm-hmm.
And I've never enjoyed that kind of music, really.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but when you see when I saw the movie, they did such a good job depicting what a movement they were starting, and like actually for the time there wasn't something like that. And you really start to appreciate, like, wow, they really did something like that really caused a mass movement, you know. And it's like, okay, I get it. And then you know, Dr. Dre. I mean, you think about it now, like all that different stuff that all of those guys, Ice-T or any of those guys, or you know, whoever's in the band, I forget who all the guys are, but the history, you know. I mean, it's crazy. And they did that. The movie was great, you know.
They did a great job with that, huh?
But
I know not everything was actually in the timeline, like him telling the band about AIDS after playing the AIDS thing. There's some like things they kind of rearranged so it had a better story, kind of thing. But he did such a great job, as acting and singing. I know it was his voice sometimes too, right? Like there was like a mix all the time. I don't think it was always his voice, but I think one of my favorite scenes from the film was them recording in the studio in the barn, and they would do the different takes, and they're like, Galileo Figaro, you know, they're like higher. It's like the process of like, because it was like a small little 8-track or whatever, however many tracks, maybe it was 16 at that time, because it was like.
I mean, think about that when you hear that song, you realize how far ahead he was in his thinking, and like how he was willing to really like put things together that, you know, people hadn't done in that way before.
I was kind of bummed David Bowie didn't make an appearance for Under Pressure, because I know it's like there's that whole story with like them like they lived next to each other on the lake, and he came over in the process of, because it's such an iconic song, you know, that they created together. And I just thought it was weird, like not even a mention of David Bowie's name, but maybe they didn't get the rights from the family. I think he already passed away. Yeah, he already passed away before the movie came out. So. Man,
he's great in movies too, man. Oh, he's great in movies. What was the movie he played Tesla?
Pan's Labyrinth. Oh, The Prestige.
Yeah, was he in that Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah.
What was he in that movie?
He was in Pan's Labyrinth.
The Labyrinth.
The Labyrinth. No, okay.
Oh, I'm thinking
that was
of the
classic.
creepy one. Oh no.
That was
was
like
that
straight
guy,
up like
man.
Dark Crystal era.
Okay. All right, our number one.
What is it? Tell me.
Almost Famous.
Oh, that's a great movie.
I mean, talk about like following a band.
Yeah.
The music was fantastic.
Right.
The whole perspective of seeing the band get off the stage and the travel bus.
Yeah.
Like, the party, jumping off the roof into the pool.
For sure.
I'm on drugs. There's just so
good.
many great spots in the movie, and one of my favorite things about that was watching the making of. So, Brett, Nick, and I talked before you kind of last week, and we're like, that was one of the first movies that really had. I remember at the time. So they have alternate takes in the special features on the DVD where, like, they have like, all right, cue up your Atlantic, you know, CD of Led Zeppelin 4 right now and press play 3, 2, 1, and it shows them sitting on the couch like reacting to Stairway to Heaven and just like rocking out stuff. But then they never got the rights for it, and that was around the time that Led Zeppelin finally started letting their material in commercials and then in movies and stuff, and that was a big deal because before that they never allowed it in anything.
Right.
No movies or anything.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a fun thing to be able to see like the alternate things.
Tangerine was in the film.
It was in the film. I can't remember.
Tangerine. I think that was one of the songs when they were in the bus, and like, because I know they have Tiny Dancer. That's right, Tiny Dancer's in that.
Is it?
I think that's like when they're all singing.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it is in there.
And then there was a couple other iconic.
Oh, it had some great. It had such a good soundtrack.
I just remember that scene because I think it was right after the fight. Mm-hmm. Didn't the band like have a major fight or whatever or something, and they all started like they all came together singing that song or something like that. It was just so iconic.
And then that movie necessarily doesn't do it as much, but some of the other movies on the list, I just love how they reference other albums. Like Jack Black is handing out albums in School of Rock. He's like, hey, here's this, and this, and this, and you know, but you get that in Almost Famous. You get that sense of like, okay, this is.
Well, and then you realize that they really are like he does a great job in pointing that out. You realize what how amazing those songs were, you know what I mean? It's like, because sometimes you forget. I mean, you hear them on like KLOS or whatever all day long, right? But when you have it in the context of like, can you imagine being a kid again and hearing it for the first time, like it, you know, blow your socks off, you know? So I remember like the first time I can vividly remember the first time I heard Van Halen. We were in Villa Park. We just moved from Oklahoma. And so we're like bombing the hill in our freaking green machines and all that stuff. There was a kid down at the bottom of the street, and maybe he was like 16 or 17. But back in, I mean, this was like 80, 84. So jet black long hair, you know, OP pants, freaking, you know, checkered Vans, like the whole bit, right? And he's like, you guys got to come in, you know? And so we're like, all right, whatever. And he goes into his room, and he has, you know, freaking 4-foot tall speakers and his big stereo, because back then, like, the bigger your stereo, the better, right? And so he put that album on, and I was just like, oh my God. You know, because he cranked it up, and it was just like, I'd never heard anything like that in my life, you know? Yeah. And seriously, from that moment, I wanted to play guitar. I mean, I was just like,
yeah.
You know,
I remember
awesome.
Hearing Van Halen too, because my dad was a big Van Halen fan.
That's a great album.
And then I remember I was learning how to play guitar, and my dad was like, hold on. And I remember he played Eruption, like the first song of the first album. He's like, learn how to play this song. I was just like, oh,
yeah, how old is your dad? He's not much older than me, right? How old is your dad?
No, he's 52.
Okay, so he's not, he's like, a few years older, but
same kind of music. My dad was in LA, so he kind of grew up with the whole Van Halen, you know what I mean? Because he grew up in LA and all that stuff. And
isn't that crazy?
Like, he was friends with, like, the singer from Whitesnake.
No way. David Coverdale or whatever?
Yeah, because we were like, you know what I mean? Like, the small little circles. Like, dude, I used to know, you know, just like that tiny little circles. Like, he also used to hang out with, like, the Lords of Dogtown skateboarders. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he just knew, you know.
Where was that? That was in, like, Venice or something, right?
Yeah, stuff like that. He just knew, you know, and my dad was like, part of the party scene.
You know, it's funny because I remember I used to go to this one class, and one of the guys that was in the class was in that whole skateboard era too. And so we started talking. He was a guitar player or whatever. And he starts retelling like those kind of stories and like all those bands. And he's like, you ever heard of the band Suicidal Tendencies? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I love that band. He's like, I was the first guitar player in the band. I was like, no way. And he goes back and he starts, you know, because some of those songs made it. And then you get the backstory, like what happened between him and the singer. And like, it was a trip, you know, because it was like, the band radically changed. But like for somebody that was in that, or Fred, you know, the guy I used to work with, the amp guy, he grew up with, oh God, what's that band? Ball and Chain.
Social Distortion.
Thank you.
I wait the money.
Yeah, the guy I used to work with literally grew up in Fullerton. Like he mentored. Right. And so that guy.
I used to see them a lot in high school.
Yeah, well, dude, you'll see him in Mothers. He was in Mothers all the time.
Well, I meant like at their shows.
Yeah.
Because I remember Operation Ivy.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, totally.
I used to know them because like a friend knew the bass players. We used to go to all the shows and stuff. But I remember they used to play a lot with Social Distortion. Like,
they're great live too, man.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
All right. Woo! Let us know what you think of our top 5 list.
Hey, did we ramble on?
Yes, we did. And
I can't help it. You got the Led Zeppelin shit on, right?
Never stops. Let us know what you think. Let us know what movies we forgot about or missed.
There's a
or if our order's wrong, you disagree with us, please let us know. If you like our order, please let us know.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys. That was awesome.
Don't forget to check out
Brett's stuff.
Channel.
Yeah.
He rocks out like there's no tomorrow on his channel.
Please.
He's gonna welcome you to his channel.
Yeah, great.
So check out his channel. He's a great guitarist. He has a fantastic ear.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see you next time.